Hey there, ToolBankers. This is Mark Broadbeck.
And this is Kevin Lynch.
And this podcast is about the fundraising season. Serving on a board of directors can be a very rewarding experience, and much of the richness of the undertaking comes from the vast array of activities that a director can engage in. Of course, one of the most important activities is fundraising. A good director knows that fundraising opportunities can present themselves at any moment, so they should expect to be performing some fundraising activities throughout the year. But fundraising obviously isn't a director's only task. This is why effective nonprofits often approach fundraising from a cyclical approach, setting aside a specific period of time in which directors and staff can really focus their energy on fundraising.
These kinds of focused strategies or campaigns are typically conducted on an annual basis at a time of the year that is convenient for the organization. The campaign is usually around 3 months long and takes place over the same 3 months each year. During those months, directors and staff pull out all the stops, making a concerted effort to thank existing donors and to identify and make introductions to prospective new donors. The temporary increase in fundraising activity typically results in a quantum leap forward in public awareness and in the number of donors.
There are several benefits to an annual approach to fundraising. First, it allows fundraising to be front and center for a few months and then return to a normal level of engagement. This makes good use of time for both directors and staff and helps reduce the chance of fundraising burnout or fatigue. Second, it serves as an active annual reminder to directors and staff about the importance of fundraising. Every single director has fundraising leads during the campaign. The elevated level of team activity cultivates trust, builds partnership, and greater ownership of the organization as a whole. Third, it makes fundraising fun. The effort of the team really pays off, and it's exciting for the board to smash the organization's fundraising goals. And lastly, it works. The annual campaign ensures that donors and prospective donors are given the personal touch, and that the repeated message of ToolBank's success will often overcome even the coldest of prospects.
So how does an annual approach apply to a ToolBank? The details are a bit different, but the basic architecture is the same. For starters, instead of individuals, an annual fundraising strategy at a ToolBank focuses on companies and foundations. Because the ToolBank is a business-to-business nonprofit, individuals don't represent a large percentage of overall giving until they're thoroughly cultivated. We'll talk about this more later. The best time to launch a ToolBank's fundraising season is in the third quarter of each calendar year. Why? Because the first half of the year is largely dedicated to goal setting, program impact, and community outreach. The summer months are generally a low period for fundraising, as volunteer activities give way to vacation, travel, and so on. A fundraising focus in mid to late August provides a great opportunity for directors and staff to rededicate themselves to the ToolBank cause. It's also around the time that companies and foundations are setting their budgets for the coming year.
Fundraising season at a ToolBank requires 2 major steps in preparation. The Outreach Committee works closely with the ED to develop current collateral materials that are used in the fundraising season as leave-behind items. These typically include the ToolBank General Brochure, an annual impact report, and perhaps a color copy of any recent news coverage from the local ToolBank or the ToolBank network. The committee should also prepare 3 to 5 talking points for directors that outline recent achievements and highlight the remarkable impact of the ToolBank and the growing ToolBank network.
Next, the ED prepares a prospect list, which has 2 basic parts. The first part is an exhaustive list of all the prospects and donors that have been previously contacted by a representative of your ToolBank. The second part contains new prospects recently identified by the ED and the board. The new prospects have never been approached about the ToolBank or have not been approached in a long time. The ED will review the prospect list and remove dead-end prospects for efficiency's sake. Every year, the prospect list should grow as new prospects are identified, new directors bring new prospects, and the number of prospects who were contacted in past years naturally increases over time. The prospect list also includes assignments of which ToolBanker will contact the prospect. If a director's employer is on the prospect list, they will naturally be the ToolBanker that makes contact. If a director initially contacted a cold prospect last year and no warmer connection to that prospect has been identified, that same director should contact them again this year. Over the course of their service term, a director might contact a prospect 6 or 7 times over several years' fundraising seasons. In fact, even after that director rolls off the board, the executive director might ask that former director to continue to conduct outreach to the prospect, as they might now serve on the ToolBank's advisory council. This is another example of professional persistence in which the continuity of leadership is prominently displayed.
To start the fundraising season, the ED sets up a kickoff meeting for the full board in which the development committee chair and the ED review the fundraising goal for the fundraising season, which is twofold. First, to raise your budget for the current year, and second, the full execution of all prospecting by all directors. The committee chair and the ED also walk through the process of cultivating a prospect and then distribute collateral materials in support of the effort. This is a high-energy meeting that signals the start of a major effort, and the enthusiasm from the executive staff and executive committee should be infectious. Do what you have to do to make this a fun and exciting meeting. If there are newer directors present that have not participated in the fundraising season before, this meeting is a great time for some role play to get to know each director, to know each other, and to boost confidence levels. The ED then provides each and every director with their list of assigned prospects. Cold prospects are assigned to directors equitably, with every effort made to pair the most appropriate director with each prospect. For instance, a director who is active in the church is going to be a good fit to approach a representative of a faith-based foundation. This is where the ED's familiarity of their directors is critically important.
Following the kickoff meeting, the directors go out and contact every person in their list of assigned prospects and report every scrap of detail back to the ED. The director's goal is to apply professional persistence to every single prospect until they've completely exhausted every prospect on their assignment list. Recent donors will receive a message of appreciation and news of ToolBank impact without any additional solicitation. Warm prospects will be updated on recent achievements, and the topic of support should be pursued. Cold prospects will require the entire spectrum of effort outlined in the Cold Prospect Conversation podcast.
So when an outreach effort is followed to the very end, it can really only have two outcomes. Either the director will obtain some information on how the prospect can support the ToolBank either now or in the future, or they will receive a flat-out rejection. Regardless of the outcome, every scrap of data needs to flow back to the executive director to ensure that it's added to the ToolBank's development records to improve the knowledge base on that particular prospect. The best favor a director can do is to either summarize the new information in an email to the ED or speak directly to the executive director about the new information. The new info will guide the actions of next year's fundraising season, and the executive director will schedule any actions that arise from the director's efforts. The ED's goal is to gather intelligence on every single prospect in the prospect list. The ED is likely to have a few prospects of their own to execute, warm prospects of course, as they work hard to develop strong relationships with donors. But the ED should keep in mind that no matter how strong that relationship gets, how warm that prospect gets, it will always be made stronger with the participation of a director. The ED should be sure to put their best foot forward and ask one of their champion ToolBankers to join them for each and every fundraising meeting, whenever possible. Through this annual effort, the fundraising season empowers the ToolBank to make an increasingly informed approach to a growing number of prospects every year. The execution of this process every single year ensures that the current list of prospects is contacted and that new prospects are added to that list. The inevitable result of the fundraising season each and every year is increased outreach and increased success in fundraising.
How does a new ToolBank employ the fundraising season concept? New ToolBanks that have recently entered the operating stage may feel that it's too soon to look at an annual fundraising season, and that they must focus on fundraising every minute of every day. But it's very important to make the transition to an annual fundraising season for several reasons. First, fundraising does take place all year round. The increased activity level of the fundraising season does not have an abrupt end. The last few efforts of outreach will continue into the new year, and other prospecting efforts will result in a sprinkling of new opportunities for meetings and follow-up throughout the year to come. The executive director, in concert with the development committee, makes sure that those opportunities are pursued at the right time. Second, it's never too early to contact recent donors to express your appreciation. The first fundraising season is likely to encompass a lot of thank yous, but this is a great opportunity to deepen those new relationships. If a company donated to the ToolBank in the procurement stage, but no prospect toured the facility, your first fundraising season is a great time to bring them out for a walkthrough of the ToolBank. And lastly, the formation and procurement stages have shown us that momentum is a critical ingredient to ToolBank success. We also know that sustaining momentum after the grand opening of a ToolBank can be very challenging. We've achieved momentum, but how do we sustain it? The secret to sustained momentum is rhythm, and the fundraising season establishes an annual rhythm around which directors see clear opportunities to become more engaged as individuals and as a team. A new ToolBank has a lot on its plate, which is the primary reason for establishing the fundraising season. Your first fundraising season won't be as comprehensive as in years to come, but the sooner you can get into the rhythm, the more effective each fundraising season will be.
So through the practice and the rhythm of the fundraising season, each ToolBank and its leadership team will achieve a major leap forward in its fundraising efforts and secure a wealth of resources that were previously unavailable. The roles of the participants are quite clear, and the process of the fundraising season is designed for maximum efficiency both during the season and throughout the year, with both directors and executive staff executing their unique roles with enthusiasm and professional persistence. The fundraising season will pave the way to fundraising success for years to come.
In the apartment above me, there is the lovingest pair. I don't know what she has to be jealous of. She has a face that just a mother could love.